gentlemen, a very good evening and thank you for tuning in to a brand new episode of The Nation Wants to Know. You love him or you hate him, but you absolutely cannot ignore Donald Trump. Much like Narendra Modi, both of them, ladies and gentlemen, have scripted electoral histories. Both of them have dealt with number of challenges. They fought with the media that many said was biased, the media that essentially was wanting to create and put out a false narrative, and also against those like Kamala Harris and Rahul Gandhi. And we'll begin with putting out certain interesting pictures for you, because this is coming in of a Donald Trump today who's not just created history, but he possibly has also reinforced the fact that the more a negative campaign that you have, the more false narratives that you push it, much like Samvidhan khatre mein hai, much like democracy khatre mein hai, the same issues, the same slogans that were raised in the run-up to the 2024 elections here in India and later then in America. There are also interesting and some lovely pictures of Prime Minister Modi and Donald Trump, the ones that he's also shared on his social media. Howdy Modi, everyone remembers. A lot of people said that, India interfered in the elections then in the US. That was a charge a lot of the opposition members had raised. This same opposition today is lamenting that you have a Donald Trump as the next American president. Wonder why? Because he's the same one who's also spoken about Hindus. He's spoken against the atrocities against the Hindus in Bangladesh. I want to see if we'll, be able to put out those images. In fact, just late last evening, there has been violence against the Hindus in Chittagong. Again, very, very concerning. We've seen what's happened vis-a-vis the Khalistani elements in Canada. You need a strong leader. You need a strong leader who will call out a lot of hypocrisy of, a lot of these world capitals, a lot of these American stooges, as they have been popularly called in the last many, many, many years. But Donald Trump is different. Donald Trump, much like Prime Minister Modi, does not, mince his words. They are both unapologetic of what they stand for. For both of them, it's about putting their country first. And exactly why today, both Kamala Harris and Rahul Gandhi need to think, what is the kind of narrative that they want to put out? In fact, we are waiting for Shalabh Kumar, who's an Indian-American industrialist, a very close friend also of Donald Trump, to join us in just a moment. But before that happens, I want to see if we can also play out just quick excerpts of what we heard from Donald Trump earlier today. He has said, we will make America great again. Illegal immigration, remember, again is a concern. Inflation was a concern that people like Kamala Harris did not believe is going to impact them. But you have seen the voter time and again, whether it's here in India or whether that is in the US, that wants hope, that wants solutions, that want answers, that wants someone who's going to stand for them, much like Donald Trump has done and much like Narendra Modi once had done. The reason why he even came back to power for the third consecutive time. And Donald Trump also, remember, has defied history, because the last election he lost and everyone had written him off. Multiple controversies. There was an assassination attempt. But in spite of that, like a phoenix, he's risen. And exactly what we heard from him a little earlier today.
But it's a political victory that our country has never seen before, nothing like this. I want to thank the American people for the extraordinary honor of being elected your 47th president and your 45th president. Every single day I will be fighting for you, and with every breath in my body, I will not rest until we have delivered the strong, safe, and prosperous America. Let me tell you, we have a new star. A star is born, Elon. But he's a character, he's a special guy, he's a super genius. We have to protect our geniuses. We don't have that many of them. Many people have told me that God spared my life for a reason. And that reason was to save our country and to restore America to greatness And now we are going to fulfill that mission together. We're going to fulfill that mission. We overcame obstacles that nobody thought possible, and it is now clear that we've achieved the most incredible political thing. Look what happened. Is this crazy?
So Donald Trump, they're saying, look what happened, quite literally. A lot of people are wondering today, look what happened. We never expected this. How could Trump come back? How could Kamala Harris be defeated? If you are one of them, maybe you need to smell the coffee, and we really hope and pray that you're not one of them, not falling in that false narrative. Let me quickly say good evening to a panel of guests joining us. We have RSN Singh Saab, who's a noted author. He's formerly been with the Research and Analysis Wing. Shyam Prasad Mehta is a senior leader of the Congress Party, and Tariq Khanji is the national spokesperson of the SP. Mr. Mehta, are you happy? Are you happy that democracy is thriving? Democracy is thriving in India. Democracy is thriving in the US.
I'm getting amused by your happiness, Deepti. See, we have nothing to do. It's an America's election. Okay, we can do some political commentary on that. As far as India is concerned, we need to mind our own business and chart a good course with our relations with USA and the new administration. That's about it. So I was amused when we were desperately trying to paint some of Trump's glory onto Modi ji, and then bask in that reflective glory, trying to say as if Kamala Harris and Rahul Gandhi are a team. So this is so funny.
Okay. Interesting that you mentioned this. You know, RSN, we did not even go that path that even Rahul Gandhi and Kamala Harris are a team. But, you know, jokes apart, there is a larger issue, Mr. Mehta, of how both these victories have a common lesson. That fake narratives do not work. You know, if you go out there and tell people, "Arey dekhiye wahan khatra hai, this leader will augur just, you know, the debacle of this democracy, the debacle of this country," people do not buy that. People want solution to their everyday problems. Much like if the Congress party says we do not accept the results in Haryana, but the truth is that you have lost the state of Haryana. You lost the last Lok Sabha battle.
Okay, so simple thing is, yes, I agree with you. Fake narratives does not work for a long time, but they will work sometimes. That's the common thing between these two elections. But every election is unique. Okay, people's issues are important. That's why India Alliance and Congress Party were talking about jobs, inflation, income disparities. These are the people's issues. Hindu khatre mein hai, Americans khatre mein hai. Those are not the issues.
No, Hindus khatre mein hai ya nahi hai. No, Mr. Mehta, now that you've spoken about this, it's my duty that I ask you. Do you believe Hindus khatre mein hai? And we'll put out images from Bangladesh. Even late last evening in Chittagong, there are these dramatic images of how the Hindu community there has been targeted. Donald Trump has spoken against this. He's condemned this. The Congress decided not to do this. May I ask why? Rahul Gandhi, the LOP, not a single word.
Congress Party will let the government handle the external affairs. Why will we poke our fingers?
So why do you do that when it comes to Gaza? Why do you do that, sir, when it comes to Gaza?
What? We are talking about only human rights violations in Gaza. We are asking as a responsible party to stop the war. That's what the government of India is also asking. We are towing the line of the government of India. What else do you expect me to say?
Okay. I let you decide what you want to say. It's good to see Sanju Verma after a long time. She's been in the US. It's a big momentous day, you know, Sanju, for democracies like not just here, but even, you know, in the US. And before you joined us, we were actually, you know, talking about how both Narendra Modi and Donald Trump have scripted electoral histories. Sanju, what is the biggest takeaway from these results?
Thank you, Deepti. Nice to be on your show after quite a bit. And I'm still in the US. I'll be back next year. But, you know, I have to say this. There is an atmosphere of, you know, eclectic electricity. You know, वो जो हिंदी में कहावत है ना, एक ज्वलंत माहौल है. And I think your question is bang on spot. I think the biggest takeaway for me or for, I think, anybody who is well-meaning in terms of electoral politics, is that finally Janta Janardhan hai. You can keep screaming from every available rooftop, oh, this man is a fascist, oh, this man is Hitler, oh, if this man comes back to power, there'll be another insurrection. Oh, you know, democracy khatre mein hai, loktantra khatre mein hai, ganatantra khatre mein hai. That is what the opposition kept saying all through the run-up to, the Lok Sabha 2024 elections, and even thereafter. And the second biggest takeaway is that on the ground, people really don't care, if you're using taxpayers' money to ensure gender change operations for transgenders or for non-binaries. They want to see whether there's more food available at the same price on their table, whether they are able to take decent holidays every year, whether their kids can afford good education without having to pay, for the loans taken for the next 20, 30 years. And look at it, I will just take 10 seconds to tell you the key big things, 3 big things that Donald Trump said to the American population, and I think that resonated on the ground, was A, there will be no taxation going forward on tips. The tipping system is very big in the US, as you are aware, Deepti. And then he said there will be no tax on overtime that you do. And the third important thing he said was there will be no tax on many of the social security handouts that you get. So social security, tips, and overtime. These are 3 big, catalysts that finally ensured that, he came back to the White House again. But most importantly, now I see some journalists saying, oh, but he's a convicted felon. Arey bhai sahab, aap wahi ecosystem ko belong karte hain, which has no qualms hugging Lalu Prasad Yadav. He's a convicted fodder scam Chara Chor mein to Lalu Yadav ko saza sunai gayi hai. You are the same lot which keeps hugging Siddaramaiah and enjoying Ragi Mudde at his residence, though he is now one of the key accused in Muda scam. Okay. But last point to what Mr. Mika said very quickly, Deepti. Mr. Mika said, we are with the government on foreign policy. Why should we interfere in foreign policy affairs? Wo to government ka lookout hai. I just want to remind about 3 or 4 statements. 2022 and 2023, both times Rahul Gandhi went to London. He said, a large chunk of democracy is coming undone in India, and I don't understand why the European Union and the United States of America are quiet.
Yes, I remember that. Yes, I do. Yes. Sanju, it's a good point, but I want both RSN and Tariq Khanji to come in before we, we go into that second layer of the debate. Saket Gokhale, who represents Trinamool, Tariq Khanji says, US election results and our Lok Sabha results have clearly shown that the Indian voter is far more mature when it comes to cutting down the arrogance of self-obsessed authoritarians and teaching them a lesson. He says, hope the US realizes this before preaching us on how quote-unquote democracy works. Tariq Khanji, do you agree with this Trinamool MP, and what is your biggest lesson out of these American elections?
Listen, in the world there is so many countries which have democracy. So if we start comparing other countries, our countries, it will be very difficult to bring a result or to have a consensus over that. Why I'm saying this? Because every country has its own dynamics of the parameters on which A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H voters vote. We have certain different types of parameters on which voters vote, and America has different. Likewise, Trump during his campaign said will reduce the taxes of the capitalist. And Kamala Harris was saying at that time that will increase the taxes of the capitalists in America. So those were the factors, and there has been n number of factors on which people of America have voted for it, and we all welcome democracy. Who has won? And we should remember in 2019 when Modi had won, Trump lost. So at that time we could have compared those things as well, that why Trump lost at that time. Now people also say that American voters were unhappy because of the genocide which is happening in Gaza, and they were blaming Kamala Harris. That Kamala Harris, they're blaming Biden that they were not able to stop those genocide in Gaza. So this is another.
Tariq Khanji, are you unhappy, sir? Are you unhappy that you have Donald Trump as the US president, or are you happy?
I just want to know that Frank Trump, what would be the stand of Frank Trump on Canada-India conflict?
Okay.
Point number one. What would be his stand? Where is he going to speak in our favor? I'll be more than that. I'll say, wow. And I just want to reply on this from BJP spokesperson that what would be the stand of Frank Trump, great Frank Trump, for India-Canada conflict, because they have relations, America has relations with Canada as well. And which type of relations, we all know very well. So, what would be his stand on that one? Two, he said, within 24 hours, I'll arbitrate the conflict of Russia and Ukraine and stop the war. So what would be his stand on that statement which he made during his campaign? So I have two questions. That what would be his stand and how India will approach? I am just interested with India's interest. I'm not interested what Americans are going to do. It's their parameters on which they decide, they elect their president. It's all right. But what we'll get on our conflict with a country where Hindus being attacked or temples being attacked, how they'll approach to Frank Trump. I just want to know.
Okay, nice that you finally want to know what will happen for Hindus also. No, finally you, Mr. Mecca, are concerned about the plight of Hindus because Donald Trump has ensured that that conversation at least happens, Tariq Khan ji. तभी तो योगी जी कहते हैं ना, कटेंगे तो बटेंगे. मान लीजिए ना. That is working.
What White House will say on US-Canada or India-Canada conflict. I'll keep my close watch on that. How White House will respond on that conflict.
Okay.
We'll see.
That is nice. Yes, it's just been a matter of, I think, yes, a few hours only. And I mean, I'm sure we'll see Donald Trump getting kick-started with all that plan one by one. But Tariq Khan ji, before I get an RSN, just tell me in 2 seconds, do you think democracy is thriving well and square here in India? Democracy hai na hum, sir?
Listen, time and again, BJP attacks democracy in their own way.
BJP attacks democracy?
We take respect to India. Always they do things like that, which weakens democracy since they came in power. So don't compare other countries. We have different parameters and they have tried to weaken our institutions, and that is the attack on democracy. America has their own types of democracy. They have lots of debate. We don't have all these type of things. So don't compare all the time that, okay, they have gone there. What relation we have and how they'll affect with having Frank Trump as a president.
Okay, like they say, no, Tariq Khan ji, like they say, English में एक शब्द है meltdown. A lot of people today are having a meltdown. I do not know. I'm quite confused listening to your response. But I want to get RSN, who does not wear a political hat, but he is going to be speaking for us as a country. It's about the country first. It's about the nation first. RSN, someone like a Donald Trump, right now as the US president, what is the biggest lesson, RSN, that we can get? I'm not sure that he can hear us right now, and we'll try to get him back very quickly. But Mr. Mecca, you can have a good laugh. You can have a good laugh because you believe kya hame kya karna hai. You know, our job is only to criticize the government all the time. But do you believe that it's important now for the Congress also to change its narrative? Give people some hard solutions. You know, your khatakhat politics fails. You have just dissolved your Congress unit in Himachal. There's a lot of pressure, a lot of problem in the Congress's own camp, sir.
Yeah, that is fine. Yeah, we will address that. But Congress doesn't change its policies or its ideas based on what happens in an election in some other country. We base our thinking on the needs of the people of this country. That is what Congress does. So you're talking as
but
if...
But you said Samvidhan khatre mein, you said Arakshan khatma kar denge.
That's why
we don't accept the
fighting.
Haryana election. Can you tell me what out of all this is not a fake narrative?
Huh? Okay, I'll tell you. See, your BJP party's US Adhyaksh ji, Donald Trump did not accept his election result in 2020. He even attacked Capitol Hill. Don't you know that? Before you celebrating, declaring him as your friend. So forget about Donald Trump. Why do we need him? Keep him aside. coming to our issues, we have so many things to discuss. Why are we jumping up and down on Donald Trump's victory?
You think,
what do we need to do
this
with
victory,
that?
Mr. Mecca, you think this victory does not matter? I'll let you decide.
Every election is unique and it has its own consequences.
Okay.
It has consequences on the India-US
okay,
relations also.
With your permission, I want to get RSN into this conversation. We had some trouble, connecting with him earlier. RSN, what is the biggest takeaway? What is the biggest lesson that, world capitals today need to take out of this American election?
No, firstly, we all knew about it. I had met people, I had gone to Jaipur Dialogue, some 4 or 5 of, citizens, American citizens had come, and they said that the entire media is biased. And they told me that, yes, he's winning. The second point is that, yes, American elections, American results do matter. If America did not matter, our political leaders won't be frequenting, America so many times and washing their dirty linen. And, well, there are Sam Petronas. What was he doing there? And then George Soros. Didn't he say that I'll spend 100 million or 100 billion for, to remove so-and-so from office? So American elections do matter. We all understand that. And as far as democracy is concerned, well, madam, tell me, Biden, did he go through the primaries? You projected somebody, and then made somebody else the candidate. So democracy, what was done with democracy for, is there for all to see. And why these elections matters? We all know about it. Who is Donald Lu? We all know who is Victoria Nuland. We all know what happened. What happened in Bangladesh, how regime changes were, being carried out. India was also being, targeted for regime changes. We all know about it. So definitely, there'll be a difference in policy. There'll be a difference as far as deep state is concerned. And this one gentleman, he just posed a question as to what will be the, their policy with regard to, with the Hindus and, Khalistanis, etc. Well, I can tell you, there are better days ahead. ये जो 5 eyes intelligence वगैरह का नौटंकी से आप देख रहे हैं ना, ये अब वो मेरे ख्याल से in my opinion there are better days, तो ये दूसरी बात ये कह रहे, about it's a kind of habit with us, to make fun of Trump. Let me tell you, have you heard about this Abraham Accords? ये जो गाजा कर रहे हैं ना, have you heard about the Abraham Accords? I think just for that, this man deserves a Nobel Prize. Have you heard of the Tibet support bill? It was a bipartisan bill before he had demitted office that irrespective of what dispensation comes into power in US, they will support they will support Tibet. So what else do you want?
Okay.
And let me also tell you that Biden was never the president. Just as we had an arrangement in India, he was never the president. There were crooks like Bill Clinton, Hillary Clinton, Obama, and somebody made a remark that thank God if Kamala comes, Obama will be having his 4th term as president.
RSN, what you've done is you've touched a very interesting point here, RSN, but only because I'm running out of time. But we look forward to talking to all of you again. Sanju, apologies, absolutely no time. I'm thanking Sanju and all gentlemen for joining us. But with a promise, we'll keep our eyes focused on that big story. Thank you. On the other side, back with more.